Welcome to the Rusty Garage and Homestead. My name is Mike. Today we're on the new property and we're going to make a trail, at least one, get some of this opened up so we can start accessing some of it. I think we're going to head to the northeast side. That's going to be the easiest because I'm kind of limited on time today. So I've got the dozer back here. That is probably the best tool you could have for clearing stuff like this. If you've seen a previous video where I tried to access a bunch of this on the four-wheeler, you could see it was pretty thick and tight in some areas, so we need to get it opened up. We need to quit messing around. So broke out the bulldozer. It's full of hydraulic fluid. I checked all the other fluids, and we also tightened the tracks on it today, so it's ready to go. So I'm probably going to set you guys up on the machine with me, and yeah, let's start making a trail. Now this camera I'm using is mounted to a gimbal, so it's trying to hold the camera level. You can see through some of these clips throughout this video, the dozer looks like it's on a pretty good slope because pretty much everything I'm on right now is a slope. There's not really any flat ground, a few little bits and pieces, but for the most part it's kind of a bunch of little valleys and hills back in here. Now, I know I'm going to get some comments about not everyone having a bulldozer and all that, but to be completely honest and just fully transparent, this bulldozer I picked up for less than what I bought my TYM 2515H for. And I mean, it was less, like before I added the backhoe and all the upgrades I did to that tractor. That tractor was $20,000 brand new with zero upgrades. This bulldozer costs less than that. So you can look on Marketplace and find these old farm dozers to use and use it for whatever you need and then turn around and sell it. These machines do hold their value quite well. And yes, I know this one does need an undercarriage. You can hear that plain as day, but it still does the job. It still works fantastic, ripping out a lot of the small stuff in these briars. But I just figured I'd throw that in there. This does cost less, or this machine did cost less than the TYM 2515H did. I've always been impressed with this little machine. It's not a huge dozer by any means. I believe this is a 75 horse. It's a Case 550G. I want to say it's a 95 model, but you can see a lot of these little trees it doesn't struggle with at all. And what I'm doing here, if you don't know, when you're pushing trees over, you normally have your blade up a little ways, and that root ball just kind of folds up underneath the blade. So I back up and lower the blade to get into that root ball to just rip the whole thing up out of the ground and start shoving it wherever I want to. Right here you can kind of see what I'm talking about if you look between the tracks and the frame down there. And whenever I back up here in just a second, you'll see how that root ball kind of folded up right there. You can see the blade mark up about 3 foot on the tree. So folding it over like that and then coming back and sticking the edge of the blade down in that root ball, you can pretty much just rip the entire thing up and push it around wherever you need it. cedar trees around here are probably some of the easiest trees to pop out of the ground. You can see that one right there, and the rest of these whenever I get to them. Those cedars don't ever have a real deep root system, and they don't ever get real big, but you can just kind of stick that cutting edge right at the base of that tree and pop it right up out of the ground. They come out pretty easy. So keep in mind, as I'm here on the east side of the property, moving all this stuff around, trying to make paths, the west side of the property is a whole lot more bushy. There's a whole lot more briars, a whole lot more underbrush in the areas that I've been able to get to. I still haven't made it to the northwest side of the property. We'll be doing that soon. I'm just going to take the dozer and cross the creek, and we're just going to try to make a trail to that northwest corner. Because I do need to get the whole north end cleared out, like what we'll be doing in this video, just so I can see a straight shot and be able to get a fence put in there. This tree right here in front of the dozer, you can see I'm fixing to back up and try to hit it pretty good because it is pretty much dead, the whole top is. But watch that big old branch came down. These dead trees are extremely dangerous. This dozer does have a ROPS with a canopy and everything above it, but I've seen people try to push trees over like that with tractors before, and it cannot end well sometimes, because you push on something like that and the top falls off on to you, and yeah, that equals bad day for sure. So when you have a property like this that has not been maintained, you don't have a lot of options for clearing it out. I mean, you can get goats. Goats would clear a lot of this brush and scrub stuff out of there. It's just going to take them a long time. You can do it by hand. It's going to also take quite a bit of time. There's always the options of renting brush cutters or hiring somebody with a mulcher, different stuff like that. But a machine like this is extremely handy, very versatile, and it makes quick work. I mean, you guys can see in this video, obviously we're not pushing over any large trees right now or anything like that, which this machine will do. You just have to dig around them sometimes, but all of this underbrush, briars, I mean, it makes extremely quick work. I'll let you see at the end of the video how long the footage took me to record all of this. And you guys go ahead and leave a comment down below now with your guess of how long I spent out here pushing all this stuff up into brush piles and clearing it open. We are starting to make a little bit of a dent here in the northeast corner of this. It's looking pretty good. So all I'm doing here is I'm kind of opening up little areas, building little piles, and then once I get kind of a central location, I'll go ahead and start moving my other little piles I'm making into one pile so I don't have just a bunch of little piles scattered out everywhere. And you can see, like over to the left, I shoved all that stuff back behind where I am in the dozer now, but that little bit I just pushed up was part of that pile of some of the little piles. guys can see that big pile of briars there to the left. All I'm going to do here is back up and over that pile because that's actually on the neighbor's property, and I'm going to start shoving those briars and everything back over into that brush pile, just because when we go to put a fence in here, I would like both sides of the fence to be somewhat open, so we're not fighting trees and everything else falling off the fence and knocking it down. So I'm technically on the neighbor's property right now. I don't think he minds, but yeah, all this needs cleaned up, and those briars are thick. There's a lot of places like that on this property that just have thick underbrush into it. This machine would benefit from some sort of brush guard on top of the blade coming up maybe another foot or two. More than once I've got trees laid over the top of the blade, kind of like that, but they've gotten stuck a lot more, and sometimes it's a real big pain getting those trees off. I mean, normally you just try to back up out of the way, but sometimes you don't necessarily have the room. But I need to come up with something, or build something, build a brush guard for it. I just need to, I guess, figure out what would be a good size, because when you're pushing on trees and stuff like that, it's going to have to be fairly substantial, or you're going to bend it all up anyways. I don't know if I could get away with 3/8 plate, or if I'd have to step it up to 1/2 inch. You guys leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on what would be a good material for a brush guard for this. So my end goal in doing this isn't just to clear cut a bunch of this or strip all the trees out. I want to try to save as many large trees as I can. I just want to be able to access the property on the tractor or the side-by-side or pickup or whatever, to be able to get back here, cut firewood, open it up, potentially have some cows or the bull over here at some point. But that is essentially the end goal, is just to clear some of this stuff out so we can access it, because I don't see the need in having the property if you can't really access it with anything. Okay, we're looking at 56 minutes of footage, and let me just take you on a little quick tour. It's gonna have to be quick because I'm gonna go get the oldest from school early. May have broke his wrist during practice, but quick work. That dozer, amazing job. You guys can remember how tight it was. I can easily get a tractor down here now. Got a couple different trails. And back here in the back, we were able to get it opened up fairly decent. This is going to be close to the north end property line. Here's our T-post is right there. I did go on that side of the property a little bit, but it needs to be cleaned out. It was way too thick. What do y'all think of the dozer for this kind of work? Those briars and all that stuff that I couldn't hardly walk through or drive through, that dozer didn't feel it. But you do get a lot of little saplings and stuff like that hanging out, which that's to be expected. Got another little trail going up that way. Kind of curves around up over through the timber. See it right over there. We've got this thing opened up a lot compared to what it was. I can easily bring Tiny down here and start pulling these little trees. I didn't really push over any huge tree, but some of those we get a little bit of firewood out of. So now that we can get back there, we just as well get some of it. But yeah, I've got to go. I just wanted to kind of stop real quick and show you all that. But y'all leave a comment. Let me know how you think that thing did for making trails. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Give the video a thumbs up. Hype it. Do that thing. And I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.